What's up, everybody? Marvel Cross 316 back with another comic book flashback. Today we are looking at the Avengers, issue number 7. This issue came out in August of 1964. And today we see the Avengers battling each other. What is this all about? We're going to find all this out in today's issue, as well as we're going to see an appearance of the Enchantress, Zemo, and the Executioner as well. And so we have a pretty cool issue to look at today, so do not click away. Go ahead and give this video a like and also subscribe if you have not, and let's go ahead and get started. Today's title is Their Darkest Hour. The darkest hour for the Avengers here. And so, before we get started as well, let's give credit where credit is due. This issue is brought to you by Stan Lee, who wrote this issue, Jack Kirby doing the illustrations, Chick Stone doing the inking, and Art Simek on the lettering page. So we begin today's issue here off with a bang here, and it looks like Iron Man is under trial here. It appears, as we see in Tales to Astonish issue 56. He put Iron Man 56, but really he's supposed to put Tales of Astonish, or actually it was Tales to Suspense. That's the comics that Iron Man appeared in. But Iron Man was accused of basically not summoning and coming to the Avengers' aid or call a few days ago. It was actually 6 days ago. And so he is being judged and put on trial by the Avengers because he was basically going on his own personal matters instead of, actually obeying the Avengers summons. And so he actually admits it too. He says, I can offer no defense. I allowed a personal problem to affect my sense of duty. And so they're all going to have to come to a conclusion as to Iron Man's fate with the Avengers here. And is Iron Man going to be kicked off the team? Well, we find out here that he's not going to be kicked off the team, but he's going to be suspended for a 1 week period. So the Iron Man is going to not be able to join the Avengers for 1 week. And the reason behind Iron Man's disappearance and not obeying the Avengers summons is because he's Tony Stark, and he, again, as you know, if you know anything about Iron Man, he has a weak heart, an injured heart, and he has to charge his armor and his heart basically like we would with any kind of smartphone. That's how Iron Man is. And he just had to charge up. He didn't have the ability to do it because he has a weak heart. And so now we turn to this scene here. We're in Asgard now, and we see that Odin is giving his own sentence here. And the sentence is to Enchantress and the Executioner. And just recently in into Mystery number 103, they had fought the Thor here. They fought Thor in Journey into Mystery number 103, and they are being banished from Asgard, and they are going to have to go to the Earth now. And we see that these guards take off the helmet and they take the axe from the Executioner, and also the Enchantress will lose some of her powers as well. So they're going to be banished to Earth. And Journey into Mystery number 103, we know if you read that issue that Loki was behind a lot of everything that was going on at that time. He's the one that led the Enchantress and the Executioner to fight Thor. And so he's hoping that once the Enchantress and the Executioner return to Earth, they can eliminate Thor for good. And so we see that out of nowhere, the Enchantress and the Executioner appear right in the middle of the street, right in the middle of traffic. The police here tell them, I don't care what you are or why you dress the way you are, you got to obey the rules here. And so we see that Enchantress and the Executioner are in like a foreign land because everybody's dressed differently than they are, and they have these different rules that they don't abide by that is different from Asgard. And so we're going to see that their main goal here is to take down Thor. Thor is their biggest threat. But we also, if you don't remember, the Enchantress I should have pointed out earlier in this issue, the Enchantress has a big, big crush on Thor. She's infatuated with Thor, and she hopes that one day she can make him her mate, or basically maybe even husband. And so that's her biggest goal, is to not only capture Thor but make her hers, basically. But we also learned in the beginning of the issue that um, the Executioner also has a thing or an infatuation for the Enchantress. So we might see a love triangle come later on. I don't know, maybe later on in the next few issues. Not in this issue, though. We're not going to see that in this issue. Then we turn to a scene here where we have Captain America, and he's fighting the toughest wrestlers that this promoter could find. Just like a training scenario here for Captain America. And I mean, he makes easy work out of these guys, as you can see right here. And he's like, "How about tomorrow, fellas?" And they're like, "Oh, you can forget that. I'm just going to fight in the ring instead." So Captain America, he returns back to his apartment here, and he's been rooming with Rick Jones, his new buddy. And Rick Jones comes across Bucky's old costume, and he puts it on to surprise Captain America here, Steve Rogers. And Captain America is offended by this and tells Rick Jones to take it off right now, and he's never going to have another partner. He said, "I just cannot live with myself if I lose you too." And so he says it's all Zemo's fault. Well, we recall from last issue that Zemo got away, and Zemo made his first appearance in issue number 6. And so we learned that Zemo is in this jungle here, and he's basically taken control, and he's trying to start this big empire in this jungle in the Amazon, and he has all of his slaves here, and he's basically saying that he wants them to find as much treasure as they can so that he can start building up his troops and weapons and equipment. While he's rummaging through all of this treasure, we see that he is interrupted by the Enchantress and the Executioner, and they are in their like ghost forms here. So the Enchantress has that power to basically cause their images to go into other areas of the earth. And we see here that they're going to talk with Zemo. We saw that the Enchantress, while she was in New York, came across a newspaper about Zemo and how he had fought the Avengers. And they're like, "We need to ally with this guy. We need to fight with him so we can take down the Avengers." So she offers it, and Zemo is more than ready to take down the Avengers. So we see here that we return. We have the Avengers all together. Iron Man's not with them because of his suspension, but we see that Giant Man and the Wasp are going to go to England to just investigate the insect life there. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to fly to England. We have Thor. He's going to return back to his other responsibilities as Don Blake. They don't know that he's Don Blake, by the way. And we're going to see that Captain America is then going to come across this guy. He was hiding in the bushes this entire time, and he's pretty surprised by it. This guy just so happens to say that he worked for Dr. Zemo in the past, and we're going to see that this guy, this unfamiliar looking guy, is going to offer Captain America a chance to find Zemo. He tells that Zemo is in this jungle, this Amazon jungle, and Captain America can go there and fight him once and for all. Captain America is like, I'm taking that offer. So he calls one of the planes, I guess, from the Avengers HQ, and he's going to fly to the Amazon jungles to find and fight the Zemo that we remember from last issue. We see that really this guy was no ordinary guy. It was actually the Executioner this entire time. So he's pretty much led Captain America to his doom here. While Thor is flying in the air, we see that he is stopped by the Enchantress, and he notices it is the Enchantress. She puts him under a spell here, and this is where we're going to see the Avengers fight each other, and Thor's going to be the main culprit here, as Thor's going to be under the spell of the Enchantress, and with that big potion, with the potion that he had just drank, now he sees the Avengers as his mortal enemies here. So pretty wicked stuff here. So now he's going to return back to the HQ of the Avengers here, and he's going to summon Giant Man and the Wasp. And this is what she wants all along. This is what the Enchantress wants all along, because she's like, if I can use him to my advantage, then he will be mine forever. And so we see that Captain America is going to finally locate Zemo. Zemo had planned this the entire time. He tries to use a missile to stop the Captain America here, and this is just goes to show you how strong and vigilant Captain America can be here. Whenever there is some surprise attack, he uses that attack to his advantage. So he takes the parachute that he was using, wraps it up so he doesn't sniff any of the gas here. So then he's going to fall right into a bunch of brush and all this trees here, and he's going to try his best to get to Zemo as quick as possible. Zemo summons his men here to stop Captain America, and we're going to see that acrobatic ability of Captain America come into play here. And these guys try to stop him, but Captain America is just so fast and cunning here. And all of a sudden, Captain America falls into a trap here, and he's in this giant hole here that is supposed to be for carnivorous beast here. And so he's trapped in this hole. Back in New York, we see we see Thor rather summons Giant Man and the Wasp, like I said, and this is where he's going to try to take them down. As Giant Man's like, "Shrink to Wasp size, hurry, Jan!" And we see that now we're going to see a battle ensue here between Thor, Giant Man, and the Wasp, as Thor takes down that helicopter that they were in. And we see Giant Man, he's enlarges to the largest capacity that he could get, and that is 50 feet tall. So he is pretty much as tall as a building. And we see that as he crumbles some of the building here. So while he had basically enlarged to that length, we see that Giant Man is of no use, as he's super weak at this point, and Thor's going to try his best to take him down. Back at Anthony Stark's headquarters here, we learn that Tony learns that Thor is battling Giant Man and the Wasp, so we see that Tony Stark is going to suit up as Iron Man after being fully charged here. And so Iron Man's going to join the fray here. So Avenger versus Avenger, this is exactly what the Enchantress and the Executioner had wanted this entire time. Iron Man joins in. We see that the Wasp is like, "Why is Thor attacking us?" And Iron Man's like, "I don't know, but we're going to find out." And so we see from a rooftop, the Executioner is like, "This is perfect. They're going to destroy each other." Enchantress is like, "We need to check on Zemo and see how he's faring against Captain America." They look into this crystal ball and they see that Captain America is still alive. Enchantress tries to use some of her spells here to cause a cave-in with these rocks. And Captain America is successful. Like I said, whenever there is a tragedy, Captain America will try his best to use the tragedy to his advantage. So he uses the rocks to climb himself out of the hole. Upon even peeping his head out of the hole, we see that Zemo is just more relentless than ever to eliminate Captain America. He tries to use this vibra gun on Captain America. Captain America, again, is going to be ready for anything that Zemo tries at him. And Captain America even grabs that vibra gun, is going to try to use it against Zemo. And Zemo's like, "Get back, everybody, get back." So Captain America is just unstoppable. I mean, he is a fighting machine in this issue. I loved it. And so we see that Zemo tries to get away in his basically plane here, and Captain America is going to tag on in as he has magnets in his shield that will attach to any magnetic surface. So Captain America's going to get a free ride back to New York City. We see that Iron Man is trying his best to stop Thor from just clobbering all of them. And we see that even Giant Man shrinks to 12 feet this time, and he's going to give a big bear hug to Thor. Just a lot of great action in this issue. I recommend this issue to anybody who wants to get into the Avengers and just read some great action stuff. We see that Thor is continuing at his onslaught, and all of a sudden we see that Iron Man is the only one to break the spell as he uses the sun's reflection to basically cause a blinding light to come into Thor's eyes. Thor then wakes up from his spell and is like, Iron Man, what are you doing here? Is your banishment already ended? We see that Enchantress and Executioner learn that Thor is now not under the spell of the Enchantress. We see that Zemo then arrives, and she's like, this is great, now we have Zemo here. But Captain America is on top of the ship here, and Captain America is now going to try to get his revenge. We see Zemo learns that Captain America is on top of the plane, and he's going to try to brush him off here. Excuse me. So Captain America is about to clobber Zemo when we see that Executioner has this one tap. I mean, he is so strong. This one tap to the nerve of Captain America's neck causes Captain America to pass out, and Captain America is thrown off the plane, and Zemo and the Executioner and Enchantress are going to try to get away, but Thor uses this space warp with his hammer here, and they're going to be teleported to another part of the city or even maybe a different universe. And so that's how we end this issue. Zemo and his allies got away once again, but now the Avengers are more ready than ever whenever Zemo tries to make a return. And so that's how we end this issue. I hope you liked it. And until next time, keep reading comics.